Why, hello. Good morning. I'm in Nashville at the moment. I'm about to drive all the way to freaking Orlando. I'm at Sonic right now, but it is early Sunday morning. This week, I'm going to spend most of the week at Universal Orlando Resort down in Orlando. I've been planning this trip for a while, thinking about it for a while. I did go to the Florida Universal Parks last year, but I was already down there with some friends for another trip, just kind of in the general area, so we stopped by there. This is a specific trip. I'm going to stay at a Universal hotel. I'm going to go to both of the original parks, and the main reason I'm doing this is to go to their brand new third gate theme park, Epic Universe. If you watch theme park, roller coaster, amusement park stuff on YouTube, you know about this place. But Epic Universe just opened up like 2 weeks ago at this point. The largest theme park that we've seen built in the US since probably Islands of Adventure in 1999, which was before I was born. And it's unlikely we'll see anything like this again for a very long time, if even in my lifetime. So it's definitely a priority for me to be able to make it out here opening year if I could, because we won't have an opening year like this for a park like this probably ever again with the way things seem to be going. So I'm super excited. The park looks awesome. I am going just by myself. I asked a couple friends that seemed interested, but they just didn't have the kind of money to drop on a trip like this right now, which is totally understandable. Again, I'm very grateful that I am able to do this, and man, I'm just so excited. So yeah, I decided not to fly and rather to drive, partially because as much as I prefer alternative modes of transportation, I do like a good road trip from time to time. And while I'll probably be back in Orlando, several times over the next couple of years, hopefully, it's probably gonna be my last opportunity to like drive down to Orlando, because I will be moving up to Wisconsin to work, which is it takes the drive to Orlando from about 9 hours to like 18 hours or something that's not really feasible to do. I didn't want to do the classic drive down the Florida road trip one more time before Florida becomes a destination I really have to fly to. So yeah, this will probably just be like a little travel vlog. I've been wanting to do more content on like traveling to the parks and stuff like that, because I find that part kind of fun. But today I'm just by myself in a car like I normally am, and I can't really film while I'm driving. That's not really safe. I don't have a tripod or anything to set up, so it'll kind of just be whatever I'll stop, I'll film something. But I did want to do a little road trip travel vlog of heading down to Orlando from Nashville today for Epic Universe. I am hoping to get there in enough time that I can go just for a couple hours to Fun Spot Orlando specifically, which is very close to the hotel that I'll be staying at. Maybe like a mile, maybe less than a mile away, which is awesome. So we'll just kind of see what time I get there. They are open till midnight most nights, unlike the Atlanta park I'm used to. I was repping my ArieForce in case I am able to make it there. That was the main reason I got my Fun Spot season pass when I went to Fun Spot Atlanta back in February this year, is because I knew I could probably get to the Orlando park this year. So that'll be fun. I'm not super excited for that compared to Universal, of course, but it'll be fun to get on White Lightning, just grab a credit or something. It's a new place to check out. I don't think I've ever really gotten breakfast at Sonic before. I got the breakfast toaster. Actually pretty decent. I'm usually not a huge American cheese fan, but it's actually fine on here. I can barely taste it. Sonic has like the best Texas toast, so like, of course the sandwich is woo. Any sandwich with the Texas toast is gonna be great. All right, jump ahead. I just stopped at the rest stop / Georgia Visitor Center, Welcome Center, like rest stop that's directly across the border, you could say, right outside of Chattanooga. So just now got to Georgia. Quite a bit of unexpected traffic through Chattanooga, which seems to happen a lot. I don't know why. I'm always more scared of Chattanooga traffic than Atlanta traffic, because at least you expect it in Atlanta. Chattanooga just comes out of nowhere, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of wild sometimes. This is probably like the nicest like walking trail area I've ever seen at a rest stop. Again, this is right in Georgia, right outside of Chattanooga, like right when you cross into Georgia on 75. This is really nice. I decided I would take a quick lap here just because this is such a nice little walk area. It looks like this is redone pretty recently. I'm not sure though. It's very nice. Just I stretch my legs a little bit before I'll be driving for another like 7 or 8 hours here. Sometimes it's nice not to be too worried about your timing and just kind of enjoy something random like this. That's kind of why I like to road trip sometimes. If I was that concerned about getting there at a very specific time as fast as possible, I just fly, People are in too much of a rush to get where they're trying to go sometimes. So yeah, I haven't done a road trip this long in a long time, so we'll see what other stops I might make along the way. Probably not that many, but All right, so like halfway between Atlanta and like Macon, Georgia or something, got stuck in literally the worst traffic jam I have ever experienced in my life. It was within the stretch of about 2 miles. We were there for an hour and 45 minutes. I checked multiple maps apps that said there was no way around it. Couldn't even get to an exit anyway because we were just sitting there. So that was excruciating. But at the same time, what are you gonna do? That's the thing about driving, is sometimes there's traffic jams that take a very long time, and that's just kind of part of the whole thing, so. But yeah, I did have to stop at Buc-ee's, and that is the most busy Buc-ee's I have ever seen in my freaking life. Just trying to get parked here was nuts and get some gas. But anyways, I had to stop at Buc-ee's because where I'm moving for work, only like a week now until I actually move. There's no Buc-ee's anywhere near there, so gotta take in my Buc-ee's while I still can. All right, I am now in Florida. I just had to stop at a gas station to use the restroom. I was gonna try to get all the way there, but I couldn't quite make it. So yeah, stepped outside. The air in Florida just feels different, smells different. I don't know, something about it. You can just tell that you're in Florida. It's an interesting place. But I'm excited to be in Florida. I'm about an hour away from the hotel, so I'm gonna get going. As you can see, it's dark. It's pretty late. It's been a bit more of a traffic hell day than I expected it to be, but it is what it is though. I'm happy to be in the state of Florida at the moment. All right, welcome to Universal Orlando Resort. This is kind of crazy. So I'm staying at Endless Summer Dockside Inn & Suites, which is kind of right across from the main parks. So Islands of Adventure and Studios are kind of across the interstate that way. We're on the other side of the interstate here. There's Dockside here, which is this giant complex, and then Surfside's right over there. Another very large complex. So they do charge for parking here, but they have this lot is for check-in. So you park here to check in, and then you can pay for your main parking in the building, I think it said. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna try to check in real quick and then run over to Fun Spot, because you probably can't see it now, but Fun Spot is about a mile that way. I actually passed it on the way over here, Fun Spot Orlando, that is. But yeah, it's a pretty big complex. So Endless Summer is kind of it's the cheapest on-site hotel that Universal Orlando offers. So it's in a little bit of a weird location being right across the interstate here, but it still feels like it's part of the resort. I definitely felt that driving in, but there's lots of other random hotels around here. All right, heading in the main lobby here. All right, nice. All right, just checked in. It is a huge property. I'll show some more of it in a minute. Right now, I want to make sure I get over to Fun Spot because it's about 10:30 now. They're open until midnight. It should be pretty quick. I just want to get in, grab the 2 coasters, or get the kiddie coaster too. It's just the 3 coasters, maybe a couple other rides, and get out. We'll see more of the hotel when we get back here close to midnight, but hopefully not too late. We'll see. But after that, a little bit more excruciating than expected drive. I want to at least go to Fun Spot, especially since I have the season pass this year. All right, my first ever visit now to Fun Spot Orlando. They're open till midnight, so about another hour and 10 minutes ish. So we'll see what you can do here in that time. Just first impressions, the presentation of this park is much better than the Atlanta park, which is kind of to be expected. The Atlanta park is goofy just due to its history. Hopefully it gets fixed up a little bit over time. You can see we get a fully paved parking lot here. Crazy, Atlanta could never. Yeah, it's a much smaller park than Fun Spot Atlanta, and obviously you don't have a standout ride like ArieForce One. Their standout ride is this little GCI here, White Lightning. But overall, it appears to have a much more consistent atmosphere. Nothing's themed or anything, but everything kind of matches each other, and it's got a consistent vibe rather than Atlanta's just, like I said, kind of a mess. So let's head on in. Here's kind of the map. It's very big on the wall, so you can read it in one shot there. We'll walk around with the tickets. You got this cool reveal once you come through security. And yeah, okay. This is pretty nice, actually. This is much nicer than the Atlanta park. It almost looks bigger than I thought. So there's like a splash pad over here. That's kind of random. You got all this pavement, it's all consistent through here. Actually pretty nice pavement. They got like bricks instead of just asphalt. No dirt or anything, no theming or anything, but it's just, everything's consistent. It's got, it's going for a certain thing and it achieves that well. Which is kind of a very, very upscale, I don't even want to call it carnival. Yeah, no, it's very nice. Just thought I'd do a quick lap here before I head back to White Lightning. You can see somebody's going on Sky Coaster. I think it came from somewhere in Las Vegas on the Strip, and they bought it when whatever place closed. It's going to be a big no-no for me today. It does cost extra anyway, but...
Okay, roll up to the top. Get ready. Hold on.
They got a much nicer Ferris wheel than Atlanta used to have. That's cool. It's even got the logo on it. Okay, yeah, I think I just walked to the end. It is definitely much smaller than the Atlanta park, but much nicer than the Atlanta park. Still enjoy visiting the Atlanta park because ArieForce is so good. They don't have anything here that's anywhere near the size of ArieForce One, or anywhere near as good as ArieForce One. But trade-off for that is you get an overall nicer park here. So we'll see what they keep doing with the Atlanta park as time goes on. Just to the right of the entrance is the two main reasons why a coaster enthusiast would come here. Of course, Freedom Flyer, their Vekoma Family Suspended, which I think recently got a new train, weirdly enough. And then behind that, White Lightning, which runs kind of the perimeter of the park here, which is their small little GCI Woody. That's where I'm going now. It has a much shorter train than any other GCI I've seen, which allows it to pull off some much tighter maneuvers. And apparently they maintain it pretty well. Apparently it runs pretty well. So very interested to check that out. You can see for some reason they have the same like colored trees like the Atlanta park put around ArieForce. Anyways, this is a really cool plaza here with all the palm trees, really nice brick pavers here. You have Freedom Flyer going around this plaza, and then of course around the perimeter of the park, White Lightning here with lots of awesome lighting. It's got a great lighting package on it. So for a park like this, that's basically like an FEC kind of deal, this is actually pretty nice. Looks like we got a very vague like railroading theme with White Lightning here. So I see some just random railroad signs around. So that's interesting.
I'm gonna go look at the picture.
Like a Union Pacific logo that says Fun Spot America. It's fun. GCI? That's the company that made this thing. Wow. Alright, well, right when I got in the line, it broke down, and they said that they don't know, but it's very likely it may not be back up tonight since it's only about an hour till the park closes. So that sucks if I came over here and didn't get to ride there, you know, the main reason that you come here. But Freedom Flyer it is, I guess. Okay, yeah, I think the entrance is on this side. The park is pretty dang empty tonight, which I guess makes sense for like 11 o'clock on a Sunday night. But, you know, I kind of expected there'd be a little more people here. There's still more people here than you typically see in Atlanta, but still. That may have been the same truck layout as Kaveston at Grenoland, which I just did like 2 weeks ago. I didn't really realize that while I was on it, but I'm pretty sure it is the same. I'm gonna look up, but I'm pretty sure that's the same truck layout. It's definitely rattly like Kaveston, despite being newer. It opened in 2013, I think. But yeah, it doesn't have near the smoothness of the newest Vekoma Family Suspendeds, like, I don't know, Dragonflyer. Dragonflyer still runs like glass. This one feels a little bit more like the OG Hang and Bangs. But it's still a decently fun layout, and this one seemed to run a lot faster than Kaveston, so that's something. But also the theming's not as good, so I haven't decided between this and Kaveston, but got a second ride on Freedom Flyer here, because what else are you gonna do? And I mean, I don't know if Fun Spot maintains it poorly, or if this was just right before Vekoma really figured out how to make the Family Suspended coasters really smooth. Or maybe a combination of both, but this thing is pretty rattly. But luckily it does have the newest generation of trains that are just the lap bars. So no hang and bang, pretty easy not to hit your head. So the rattle's not, you know, as bothersome for that reason. And it's a pretty fun ride, just the way the paths are laid out here, getting to fly over the pass. It's fun, it's fun. It's not thrilling by any means, but I thought it was pretty fun. Anyways, White Lightning just reopened, so I'm gonna go do that, obviously. You can see the Islands of Adventure lighthouse over there. That's how close we are. All right, I did 3 rides on White Lightning there. What a fantastic little ride. It feels very different than any of the other GCIs because again, you have the much shorter trains, so it takes transitions like a lot tighter. There's like one kind of rough jolt at like the turnaround. But other than that, it runs pretty smooth. It definitely has more of an old wood coaster. It feels more like Kentucky Rumbler than like Thunderhead or Mystic, which makes sense. I personally put it number 3 out of the GCIs I've done. It's better than Kentucky Rumbler, but obviously nowhere near as good as Thunderhead or Mystic. But yeah, I wasn't sure if I would like it better than Kentucky Rumbler, but it's really got a really nice pace layout. Obviously, it's not a standout for this park in the way that like ArieForce One is for the Atlanta park. It doesn't make this a must-visit park, but it definitely makes it worth a visit if you're in Orlando, which a lot of people are going to be in Orlando anyway for other parks. So you should definitely stop by and check out White Lightning here. Probably about 15 minutes until the park closes. So I could finish out on White Lightning. I actually think I might go try out that Ferris wheel. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, the park's like completely dead now. Now it feels more like how Fun Spot Atlanta typically is. But it is, you know, close to midnight. It is awesome that this park is open all the way until midnight, you know, pretty much all summer, every day. Makes it much easier to hit real quick at the end of the night, get a few rides, you know. This is not a park where you need a whole lot of time at, so it's definitely great to just be able to stop in here for a couple hours, or in my case, just an hour. And yeah, if they weren't open until midnight, I definitely would not have gotten to visit today. I'm literally the only human on this Ferris wheel right now. Complete Zen ride on the Ferris wheel. Anyways, really cool views of Universal over there. Got those on the left hill of White Lightning too. Kind of why I want to come up here. A little spooky. Also was able to see Epic Universe from the lift hill of, yeah, barely. You could barely see the, whatever the hotel's called. Oh, you can see Stardust too? Oh my gosh. "100% Zen ride of the Ferris wheel there. It's kind of fun. They give you 2 full rotations on it, which is nice. I assume that's the normal procedure. It was nice. You look out one side, you can see the whole park, but you can see the whole central Orlando area. So you look up one side, and you can see Universal Islands of Adventure and Studios. And if you look back, we could barely see Epic Universe, and I could actually see Stardust. I don't know if it'll come across on cameras, but you could see Stardust Racers back there. It's really cool. It's hard to tell which go-kart track is which because they're all so intertwined back here. But with about 4 minutes till close, I'm going to see if I can ride whichever this one is real quick, just because, you know, go-karts are a fun spot thing, so I gotta do at least one go-kart track here.
Seatbelts on, unfold directed to exit. Please remain seated with your seatbelts on, unfold directed to exit. Please remain seated with your seatbelts on.
All right, I have survived last ride of the night, or last drive of the night on, what is this thing, Commander. So that's the green one. The yellow one that intertwines with it is a different track. They're very similar though. It's decently smaller than the multi-level tracks they have at the Atlanta location, but it's still pretty fun. I actually found it to be much smoother than the the Atlanta ones. The Atlanta one's pretty rough, the road is anyway. But yeah, it's like 12:15 now. The park closed like 15 minutes ago. It just took a while for them to get the go-kart started up. A bunch of people came on the line like right before the park closed, right behind me there, so they had to start up some additional go-karts. But yeah, fun track, fun park. Overall, it's just a much better put together park than Atlanta. I mean, it's nothing amazing, but Atlanta's just such a kind of mess right now. Again, this still kind of feels like a fairground kind of thing, but it's at least consistent, and there's nice pavers and everything at least kind of looks nice, if you know what I mean. Yeah, peace out, Fun Spot Orlando. Cool place. Park was definitely more empty than I expected, especially because I always hear that this and the Kissimmee Park really carry the Atlanta park in terms of, you know, keeping the chain profitable due to their location, of course, to the other parks. Orlando here is directly across the street from Universal, and then the Kissimmee location's like pretty much right next to downtown Disney, from what I understand. So yeah, it's more empty than I expected. I expected it to be a little bit more crowded. Obviously, I still expected everything to kind of be a walk-on, but I didn't expect it to be quite as empty as it ended up being. But that may just be because it's a Sunday night. I don't know how it is on like Saturday nights or Friday nights. Maybe it's busier. But yeah, within an hour there, I managed to get 3 rides on White Lightning, 2 rides on Freedom Flyer, 1 on the Ferris wheel, and then do a go-kart track. So I think that's pretty decent. They do have some kind of weird policies here, I would note. Like for White Lightning, they do not allow you to re-ride even if there's nobody in your row. They make you walk around, which is pretty odd considering the Atlanta park has the complete opposite policy. With ArieForce One, you can literally like just stay in the same seat for I've done like 8 rides in a row before without getting off. I don't mind the walk around policy. A lot of parks have that, and it kind of makes sense because a lot of people don't know their limits and they'll ride too much. So it's good to have them walk around. I don't have a problem with that. It's just odd that it's a completely different policy than what they have at Atlanta. So yeah, it is kind of a weird case where this park is a much nicer park than the Atlanta park. However, there's less reason to go out of your way for this because they don't have anything quite like ArieForce One here, of course. White Lightning's a fun GCI. It makes the park worth visiting if you're already in this area, but it's nothing worth going out of your way for. Whereas ArieForce One is worth going out of your way for, but the rest of the park there is much junkier than here. It's got its own unique charm though, the Atlanta park. I'm not trying to hate on it. It's just kind of a weird situation, the whole everything with Fun Spot. It's very odd. I will say all the ride operators were like pretty fast tonight when it came to checking restraints and stuff. There's just a lot of like really weird policies they have to follow from Fun Spot. I've talked before about how terrible ArieForce One's loading procedure is. Every ride here has a similarly terrible loading procedure that takes forever, but then when they get to actually checking restraints, they're pretty fast at it. So very good ride ops, just weird policies. That's Fun Spot though. I could do a whole video one day just talking about the, I guess, Fun Spot chain now that I've been to 2 of the parks, but I'm much more familiar with the Atlanta one. It is an odd can of worms for sure. But again, this is right across the street from Universal. You know, it's right here. You might as well check it out, I guess. I had a good enough time here, but if you're choosing between coming here and getting night rides at like Universal, then get night rides at Universal, you know, that's the thing. But this park is open till midnight, which makes it much easier to stop in at the end of the night if you want to, like I just did. But anyways, yeah, for the Universal Hotel, this is the Endless Summer is the cheapest on-site resorts that Universal have available. So there's Dockside and Surfside. Dockside, I believe, is a bit bigger, but then Surfside is right next to some water. They're right next to each other, though. That's just Surfside in this map would be over here, I believe. But yeah, they give you this map when you check in, and they kind of highlight and circle where different things are. So when you come in, here's the main lobby here, and this has shows on the back. We'll see this in a minute, but has a Starbucks here, a Universal like merchandise store, and then a whole like restaurant. I think it's like a cafeteria style restaurant where you can get breakfast in the morning, dinner when you come back from the parks, whatever. But it's really nice. They have that whole little food court set up in there. And then the hotel consists of 2 towers that are connected. There's little indoor walkways from the lobby to the 2 towers. And then you can see each tower has its own parking garage. So I'm in Tower 1, so parking garage back there. And then you have complimentary transportation to all the Universal parks in Orlando, and that's right there at B. So yeah, it's nice to give you this map when you check in, because it is maybe a little bit of a confusing resort to navigate if you're not used to navigating resorts like this. Oh, and there are pools in the middle of each tower, and I was told you can use either pool. It doesn't matter. You're not restricted to one of the pools based on which tower you're in, so that's something. I probably won't use the pool while I'm here, but we'll see. I just parked in the Tower 1 parking garage here. There is also a surface lot down there, but the surface lot appeared to be full, and since it's so late, I didn't want to spend the time trying to find a spot there, so I just went in the garage. I don't know, the garage might be better anyway. But there is both a surface lot and a garage. But yeah, you just come around the building and there's a electronic gate. You scan your room key and it lets you in. Okay, so the garages are not attached to the building. It's a short walk outside. But yeah, there's the surface lot over there. You can check out working as well. But yeah, whatever. So we can do an enter Tower 1 with a room key here. All right, here are the hallways. It's a hotel. I'm really not sure what else to say. But yeah, it's a hotel. Anyways, here's a view out the elevator lobby window. It's pretty cool. The glare is really not doing any favors, but you can see Fun Spot over there to the right. And then Universal Resort over there, directly in front of us. Okay, very brief overview of the room, then I'm going straight to bed. So the whole room has like a very vague, like, not super detailed, but not super undetailed either, like kind of surfing theme. Both of the Endless Summer hotels are kind of surfing themed, hence Surfside, and this one's Dockside. But anyways, here's where I am. So you can see it's a pretty big complex. It's just one of the two towers. Yeah, you come in, it's like a tap key card, as you'd expect. Light switch. Here's a mirror with hooks. And then your closet is actually like not built into the room. It's like a, whatever you call it, a physical case closet thing here, but with a curtain over it. Bathroom, there's your sink. And there's a mirror. It's actually a pretty nice mirror compared to the other finishes in here. Of course, toilet, pretty big shower, which is definitely nice. Actually, yeah, very large. Very surprisingly large shower. Is that Universal branded, like, shampoo? Yes, it is. Okay. Very neat. Interesting tile in the ground. And here, right here is your thermostat. So, looks like we can we change the mode? Auto. It's either auto or off. Okay. And then we can do our fan speed. We can also, I guess, do auto fan by turning it off and back on. And then we can do temperature control. How low is it? So it goes down to 65, up to 80. But I assume it just stays based on the season. So like now it's summer, obviously, so it's going to be air conditioning mode. And if you're from a different part of the world, Celsius button. Crazy. Adjoining room available if you want it. All of the rooms are 2-bed. There were no options for 1-bed rooms. You can see it's pretty spacious. There's a decent gap between the 2 beds. You know, like this chest thing here. What the heck? Yeah, it doesn't actually open up. It's just the desk. Alarm clock that has the wrong time. Has not been reset in a while. I guess it's 12:50, not 1:50. Yeah, just some canvases on the wall, etc., etc. Here's your TV. I don't know what size it is, but it's not the biggest TV ever. But it's not too small either. But it's definitely on the smaller side of most hotel TVs you'd see in like nicer hotels. And of course you get some drawers and stuff. I assume you get a fridge down here, I would guess. Yeah, so cool little canvas, coffee maker, whatever. And then here are the windows. This is impressive. Hold the curtain open. Very large window there. And I have a pool view room, I guess. You could pay extra for a pool view when you book. I did not do that. But then when I checked in, they were like, do you have a preference on rooms? I said, no, I'll take whatever. So you can still get a pool view if that's just what's left, like happened to me. But you can also pay extra for it, but I don't really care. And it's cool down there, though. I didn't realize you can't see on camera because of the glare and stuff, but they have like actual sand down there and stuff. So it's definitely a cool looking pool for sure. Palm trees. There's also a bar at the pool. Yeah, being here in person, a lot of the finishes in here definitely do like really feel like kind of low-end budget hotel kind of stuff, which you would kind of expect with this being the cheapest on-site hotel at Universal, but at the same time, this is like $200 a night, and I've definitely been in much nicer hotel rooms for $200 a night, but you are definitely paying for the on-site Universal experience, so that's what you're paying for. That's what you gotta decide whether it's worth it or not. The room's definitely not bad, but yeah, a lot of the finishes feel a little on the cheaper side, but then some stuff's nicer, like the shower's pretty nice. You get a really nice big window and stuff, so it's like a weird mix of like nice modern hotel stuff and kind of cheaper stuff. It's odd, but I got a few days in here, so I'll really feel it out and let you know how it is, how I feel about it in a couple days. Anyways, I gotta sleep now. Hope to catch another ride with you again very soon.